It's time for the year-end clearance sale at Primo Kia. Every vehicle in stock has been priced for immediate sale. They all come with Kia Motors' 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty and Primo Kia's checkbook of savings. This '09 Optima, loaded, just $15,997. Register now for the Primo Kia Club. Win prizes every month and a grand prize of a 2010 new Kia. Kia, the power to surprise. Primo Kia surprises every day. 4747 South Yale.
Dynamic Audio, Tulsa's newest destination for your home audio and video needs, specializing in custom integration and control of lighting, heat and air, and security for your home. From system design to installation, Dynamic Audio will walk you through each step of any size project. At Dynamic Audio, we provide what people desire most, customer service and a buying experience like no other. We invite you to come by and see for yourself what our existing clients are already talking about. Located at 101st and Yale in the shops of Seville.
Imagine a child never being tucked in at night, or ever hearing, "Let's have ice cream." Now imagine the smile on their face as you tuck them in and prepare their favorite flavor. I've been a Bear Foundation foster dad and know the positive difference it can make in a little boy or girl's life. If you'd like to become a Bear foster parent, just contact the Bear Foundation today, and you too could receive your very own Love Rose. Thank you.
From Oklahoma's pioneers to those blazing the trail today towards our state's great future, Oklahoma women have some truly amazing stories to tell. I'm Amanda Armstrong. Join me each week on the Oklahoma Channel as we sit down with two Oklahoma women who share their story. You'll be inspired, uplifted, and encouraged to find the story within you along the way.
(2009). You decide. The Mayor's Race with John Erling.
So we are back with mayoral candidate, Democrat Tom Adelson. Tom, one of the first things you'll probably want to do is establish a good working relationship with our city council. And what are your thoughts along that line? Have you visited with any city councils, council members? What are your thoughts? Because I think the city of Tulsa is tired of bickering.
Yeah.
It would seem to me that the mayor can kind of consider themselves as another councilor, and the two entities can work together.
Yeah.
So can we all just get along?
I don't know. I'm sure our city council would like to view the mayor as just another council member, but we do have a city charter that sets forth the responsibilities of the mayor and the city council. My own experience as a legislator is that every bill that I've carried, I've had to find common ground. And I've done that by reaching across the aisle and meeting with folks, often Republicans. In fact, all my bills that I've passed have had Republican authors, and simply working collaboratively. So I think it's about establishing relations and building trust and building a collaborative work experience. I've done a fair amount of that in my last 5 years. I'm kind of proud of some of the bills that I've got passed, and it's all about working together and working collaboratively. You have to recognize that they represent their neighborhoods and be very respectful of that. At the same time, you hope that the city council member, that person would also realize that there are citywide interests as well that are at stake, and that they need to be thinking about the city interests as a whole.
But there are just little housekeeping things, and I talked to two city councilors about this very issue. Transparency, informing both sides of all sides of the issues. Communication was very important to them, back and forth. They were even emailing with the mayor. A staff that could represent the mayor so that when the staff comes back to you, they know exactly what the council has said, those kind of things, and the liaison officer. So those are some of the prompt liaison, and they do not want to be rushed into making decisions.
That's all good advice. And, again, I'd hope that I can have coffee with one or two council members once a week or more often as necessary, and establish those relationships. There's 9 of them, and I look forward to sitting down with each of them as often as necessary to establish that trust and understanding of one another so that we can work collaboratively.
I believe you've suggested a competition between public employees and the private sector. Is that true?
I'm not quite sure I know what you're referring to. We have a practice called best sourcing, and there are times when we should be competitively bidding city services. I'm supportive of that. You might be referring to, Dewey Bartlett has talked about privatizing services.
He has talked about that.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him on privatizing services?
It depends what he's talking about. He said I think there are 50 municipal services that he's said should be privatized, and I don't know what those 50 are. But in general, I think we ought to work with existing city employees. I'm a little bit distrustful, especially with the ongoing fraud and kickback scheme with our Public Works Department and certain city services, and I would never privatize basic services like police and fire. I think that there's an advantage to having those type of basic services answerable to the city council and the mayor and the taxpayers. So I'm not quite sure. He's been a little bit general about that. I'm a little bit skeptical. Again, on my Chamber of Commerce questionnaire, which is on my website, people can go and look at my answer.
I suppose you want me to ask what your website is.
Thank you, John, for asking. It's adelsonformayor.com.
But what is the advantage of privatizing anyway? Are their rates going to be better? Do we think they're better workers than city employees? Why would we even consider privatizing?
Look, I think in the day and age that we live right now, there's a lot to be concerned about leaving everything to the private market. I certainly respect the role of the private market in capitalism, but I also recognize that there are basic core government services that a local municipality or a state or the federal government have to fulfill. Sometimes if you give folks the opportunity to sin, they will. And that's why we have government. That's why we have basic city services that really don't lend themselves to privatization. You've got shareholders that have to earn a rate of return. It's not always about running a business. It's really about non-profit public service. That's how I view public service, not running a business. That's probably another big difference between me and my opponent.
Say that difference again.
Well, he talks a lot about bringing his business experience, and I hope folks will look at his business experience before we do that. But he talks a lot about bringing his business experience to city government. And again, his particular business experience, I hope he doesn't. But I'm about...
So you don't care for his business experience?
Well, we'll talk about that more later. If he wants to bring that as an issue in the campaign, then we'll make that an issue in the campaign. But I do think that to the extent that you think that running a government is like running a business, I don't think that's true. I think it's about non-profit public service.
Okay. And we have a few things to talk about here, Tom.
Okay.
And we have another segment to do that in. Democrat Tom Adelson is our guest here today on the mayor's race with John Erling, and some more to talk about. Stay with us.